Hi, everybody. This is Ryan from Pi Records, and I'm here with Joey from Justified Anger. And I'd like to say hello. How you doing today, Joey?
Pretty good, man. I appreciate you having me on.
Great. I heard the CD that we have here at the store, "We Eat Rats in the Age of Waste." I was blown away. It's always great to hear new music, um, especially when there's a talented group of people putting it out, and the production is good. I mean, it's awesome. You want to tell me a little bit about the CD?
Yeah, we got back together in like 2017. It was just me and our drummer Chris. A couple of the original guys are still around, but not playing with us at the moment. One lives up in Washington. Hopefully, we can get him on the next recordings. But both of the guys, and then another guy he came back. Justin played with us for a while, but so anyways, we got back together 2017, just started writing new songs, and kind of turned into more than we expected. We were going to do just a 7-inch, came up with the full album, and then we were surprised how good it came out, to be honest. I was surprised. We had our friend John, who's now playing guitar with us, John Salmoni. He recorded it at our studio. It took us maybe a few months throughout the summer, I think, and um, it's I'm actually really happy with it. I'm happier with this than anything we've ever done. And what's really cool is that we sent one song out to Malt Soda Records, and the guy that runs it, Scooter, he dug it and wanted to put the album out just off of the. It was a cool experience. The whole thing was awesome. It sounds great, and you know we're stoked. We're stoked people are getting it. Stoked people are liking it. It's awesome.
Yeah, man. I got a lot of positive feedback on my page from it, um, and the artwork. I mean, just the layout and everything about it.
Mike Fisher, he did a great job on that. He's an amazing artist, digital graphic artist. He's done tons of work for great bands. Recently, I think he just did one of the last Rancid pieces of art. He did the last TSOL 7-inch cover. He's done tons of stuff. The guy's an amazing artist. He's done all the Malt Soda album covers. We're stoked to have him do it. It is a big honor. The guy's an amazing artist.
That's awesome. Uh, and it's it's exactly representative of your message. Would you like to talk about your message? Because not only is the music great, but I think the message is important, and what you're saying is pretty important.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that. I think more so of what my lyrics and the idea of what the album stands for is more just it's social satire. It's just it's supposed to be tongue in cheek and absurd because I just think everybody's absurd. We're all absurd. We live in an absurd world today. It's uh, there's nothing real anymore. We're just consumers that are jumping off the edge, and me included, all of us. It's just the world's in chaos. So it's more of a just a slap in the face to all of us. We're all stupid. It's I don't know how we wound up where we are within every aspect of life. It's absurd. that's what we've always been about. We're not really a political band. It's just we live in a world that's ridiculous, and it's how we express what we feel.
Great. That's uh, that's a hell of a way to put it. That's heavy.
I mean, I could go. Each song is just they're just little thoughts, and you kind of just put them together about this absurd, this is absurd, this is ridiculous, and it's all tongue in cheek. It's you can't take it too seriously, but like a religious paranoia. I was raised as a kid. I was raised Christian, and went to church and stuff. I don't know what I believe anymore. It's something that I don't know if I wrestle with it anymore, really, but I don't know what there is. But it's not an anti-religious song. It's not an anti-Christian song. It's just, I think there's a lot of people that are crazy and latch on to things in life that make them feel whole and take it to a whole new level that has really caused a lot of problems in the world, you know, throughout all history. And religion is one of them. You know, it's not a bad thing when you, I suppose, when it's used correctly, but it's really been a root of torture throughout the years, you know.
Yeah.
And personal torture too. I think people live with this guilt of, you know, sin and you know, all of that, and it's the whole thing is crazy. But that's just one little snippet, you know, one song.
Yeah.
But I say the song "We Eat Rats." That's more of a consumer song. It's about us just running around like, you know, a bunch of idiots eating each other up, and you know, we draw the blood and then we wipe our hands clean from it and walk away, and that's how Americans live these days. It's how the world lives, kind of. But whatever.
Yeah.
We're just here.
It's justified, right? I would say.
that and that name itself is just absurd. You know, I don't know. Is, you know, anger is justified. You know, but I don't know. Anyways, I don't want to go off. I'll go off and 5 other things will pop up in my mind. So, you know, but yeah. And the guy that came up with that name, Justified Anger, he was our original guitar player, Justin. He's not playing with us now. He still lives around the area. We'd like him to come back, but you know, we'll see. I just want to throw that out there. But yeah,
So,
the new album's awesome. I appreciate you helping us out with that.
yeah, absolutely, man. We love it. Jen took to it right away. And she said, "Oh, who are these guys?" And I was like, "Oh, you know, they're from California. Where in California are you from?"
Orange County, Garden Grove originally. It's Anaheim. We butt up right next to Anaheim. We live right down the street from Disneyland. Growing up, you know, in the shadow of Magic Mountain, Matterhorn, and it's a shitty place right now. It's always been a shitty place. Garden Grove, Garbage Grove.
Yeah, I've heard people who live in Orange County complain. I hate to use the reference, but the No Doubt Tragic Kingdom, the whole reference to that. I've heard a lot of people say that.
Yeah, no doubt. They're from Anaheim. They went to the high school, like a rival high school of our high school. But yeah, you know, there's all those bands that Offspring and I don't know. It's cool, I guess. You know, it's not what we were associated with. I suppose at the time we really hated it. Nowadays, I don't care. I think the one band that always bothered me was Sublime, but that was when I was younger. And now that they have great songs. I was
I
stupid and young, you know.
I go through that myself when I go back and look. I'm like, why wasn't I listening to these guys when it was happening?
Yeah.
So tell me about how you guys got together. You've been together a long time.
Yeah, we all went to high school together, except our bass player. The original band was me, our drummer Chris, Tyson Erickson, Justin McMillan, and Jeff Laro. Those 3 aren't playing with us at the time or right now, but me, Justin, Tyson, and Chris went to school together, and Jeff was a friend of Chris's. And me and Justin had a band in like 94, 93. And it was just a 3-piece. We didn't have a bass player. We played one party, and Chris and Jeff were there, and they were all about it. And we just started hanging out and then started jamming. That was about 95. We would play in Chris's garage, piss off the neighbors, piss off his parents. Although they were really cool, they supported us. Yeah, we just started playing backyard parties, really. I think the first actual show we played was 97. It was at a big theater out in Ontario, California, with some local bands, UXA, Narcoleptic Youth, Union 13. You might have heard of them. They went on to do some albums with Epitaph. It was a really cool show. It was a cool experience being 19 years old and doing what we watched on old Flipside videos. You know, it was cool.
Yeah. right now it's a lot easier to be in different places and record your music. Not like the old days, not like the early 90s. What if you could go back and tell yourself what you would do differently? What would you say? How would you tell them to get the music out?
Well, the thing that I really regret is not recording more and doing more releases. What we focused on was playing shows. We thought that's how it was gonna, what was gonna keep us going was playing. We always got to play, always got to play. 80 shows a year. Crazy shit. For a band that had no money, this is we're doing this all ourselves. Never got paid, but I would say I would tell myself to go back and make sure you record everything. Take your time to record it. Don't worry about anything else. Polish everything up. Don't try to be crazier or more hardcore than anybody. And get the music documented and get it out there and get it released. We're really lucky that we had a good friend uh, that was starting up a record label. He had a distro and he was starting up a label at the time, Puke and Vomit Records, and he put out 2 records for us, and that helped us immensely. Nat Hall, he's got a record store in Anaheim, Radiation Records. He's doing really good. Um, but yeah, we only really released 3, 2 7-inches, 1 full length, and that was over a 10-year period. And that's a regret. I would say, we should have put one thing out a year, even if we put it out ourselves somehow. We didn't have that kind of foresight. We didn't have the money to do it by ourselves. So there was a lot of things that we could have done better, I think. But recording and getting the music really documented was my big regret.
But you have a great document now. I mean,
Oh
not only is it a good
yeah,
document of what you do, but its quality is. I mean, I'm like, this was done at the blasting room or something. I was like, it was really polished, and sometimes that's a good thing, sometimes that's a bad thing. But with this, it was perfect.
yeah. Our John that did the recording, he took a lot of time at making sure everything was right. But the guy, yeah, I think this is maybe the second or third thing he's really done. I'm probably wrong about that, but he's a genius. He charges $250 for the whole recording, and it sounds like it's like a $5,000 recording or something.
Yeah,
He did a great job. Great job. He's going to be doing the rest of our stuff from now on. That's for sure.
that
Yeah.
that's cheap even by standards 20 years ago.
Oh yeah. Unbelievable. He's got his setup. We do it at a rehearsal studio in Garden Grove. It's actually a record store, and in the back he's got the guy Rick. He's got a studio where bands can rehearse, but then they've also got a recording booth up in there. So it's like a 3-in-1 place, and they hook us up. The guy's a great guy, Rick. He runs his record store is called Nothing But a Nightmare. He's got a little record label, puts out bands. It's a really cool deal, and he hooks us up. He charges us $20 for the studio, and then we pay whatever John wants us to pay him for the recording. It's we're spoiled. It's amazing. It's crazy. He loves to do it, and he's great at it. So it's good practice for him, and it's awesome for us.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like he needs much practice though.
No, he's killer. Yeah, he's killer. He's all that stuff is way above my head. I know nothing about that stuff. It's like um, it's amazing. It's amazing. When we originally recorded our first CD, we did it at a fairly big studio in Brea, where some band like War supposedly recorded there. Striper, the Christian heavy metal band, recorded there, and it was half analog and half digital. And in '99, I don't think that's kind of around when Pro Tools was maybe first coming out, or the early versions of that. People didn't really know how to use it, I think, and we just
I lost your audio.
these days it seems like it's much better. You know, people understand it more. After that record, we recorded 2 7-inches with a guy named Rusty in Long Beach, and he did a really good job on it. It's just different sounding. I think throughout the years the digital home recording setup kind of has gotten far better and far more superior than it once was. So yeah, you know, they were great recordings. They captured raw energy, but they just didn't sound as good, you know. And now it's awesome. So we're stoked to have, you know, the hookup with John to make us sound good. You know, we sound good live. We really do sound good live. The band is awesome, but I'm blown away at how good the album does sound. It's amazing, and I'm glad that people are picking up on that too, because that was a regret as well, not having good recordings, you know, from the past. And the way that everything cut through this time, it's awesome. It's awesome.
Would you say that the new album is a fair representation of your live show?
Sometimes it kind of depends. It depends on the show that we're playing. If we're playing with, we like to throw. We've got a lot of songs that are more mid-tempo and a little more. This was just something that we wanted to put out because I just a more heavier first release back maybe was more. We felt it was a little better for us, but we have a lot of songs that are more influenced by like The Damned or TSOL or something like that, more mid-range tempos and darker sounds. We like to really throw those songs in. We think they're killer fucking songs, and sometimes it bums people out because it's not, you know, necessarily what they want to hear. So we got to pick the show to do it at. But I don't know that it's not really a good representation of the overall band. It's a good representation of the one style of music that we play. We play, you know, we don't like to be completely nailed down to one style. It's punk rock, but we came up on all kinds of punk rock. You know, as we got older, we listened to everything. You know, so as most people do. But the next recording will have more of the slower stuff on it, more different sounds. I think that's more so what the first CD I think was 50-50. It wasn't straight up hardcore. We got a little more hardcore throughout the years, but I think the next recording is going to be a little more like the original band, just far more put together. So hopefully with the next recording, it'll, you know, if you put the two side by side, they'll blend well. You get a better idea of what we are, I guess. If you don't see us live, you know.
Yeah. So speaking of live, where have you guys played? Where like as far as you've gone, I'm sure Orange County, but how far have you spread the word, so to speak?
We've never been out of this. Well, we went to Tijuana maybe a few times. That's the only time out of the state we've been, but or out of the country. But we've gone pretty much all the West Coast, Midwest. We never made it to the East Coast. That was always a little too much for us. We'd go out for about 12 days at a time, come back completely broke, you know, broken down van. And we had no money. So, but the West Coast a lot, all up and down the West Coast, Midwest. Place that we went frequently was Idaho. We have a lot of friends out there. They got a great scene out there. Or they did, and it's coming back. So hopefully that's a place that we would just go for a weekend to do now. It's really cool. But yeah, we've never been to England or anything. Maybe someday, you know, Japan, England. Back in the day, we got offered to go to Japan a few times. It's just, we had no money. Nobody was going to float that. Our parents was like, yeah, you know. None of us had jobs, but yeah, it was fun. We did probably 4 tours. We had an old ambulance that still had the sirens. When we bought it, it had a gurney in it. We gutted it, threw couches in it, threw a PlayStation. It was a cool rig. We had that for a while, and then I don't know what happened to it, but I want to say it broke down on the last tour, and that's kind of when we got rid of it. But touring was fun. I don't know that we really have it in us anymore, to be honest. One-off things, weekend things, little shots we can do. It just getting back out there. It's too hard with everybody and jobs and stuff. It's fun, but we take it seriously, but it's fun. Um, you know, I think more so we're focused on recording, putting stuff out, and if somebody can help us go somewhere, pay for it. That might be a little bit of a different story.
So
Not something that we're itching for.
yeah. So why now? Like what made you say, okay, I got to put this out now? Like why start back up?
Uh, I can't really remember what sparked my interest. Really, I was bored in life in general. I think and I started talking to our old drummer, and we just decided to start jamming. And we got our old friend Brian to play guitar for us for a while, and then it just kind of evolved from there. I I didn't play music for maybe 8 years or so. After Justified Anger originally broke up, we had a couple bands. We had a band called Caffeine Scream. It was all the members of Justified Anger. Only I moved over to guitar, and a couple of the other guys switched up, and we had the singer from Mad Parade, this guy Bill. It was a cool band. Didn't last very long. Then I went on and played another band called the Clags with my cousins and a friend named Fred. That broke up in maybe 2010, 11. So for almost 10 years, I didn't play any music. But throughout that time, I was writing songs. I play my guitar, every single day. It's what I do when I get home, from work. So I've always had an idea of doing something again and thought it would be cool to get the band back together. And it just happened. But since we've been playing, I've really picked up my love for writing songs again. I think it was I had tons of songs that I just threw away, whatever. And I never really cared about recording them throughout that period. But now that we got this going, I'm nonstop writing. I've got, just like we did back in the day, I got more songs than the guys can learn, and all the other guys are writing songs. We're trying to get songs from our old guitar player that lives up in Washington. He's sending us songs, so it's it was just something that I felt I still had in me. And the other guys felt they still have it. Want to just bust it out again. And surprisingly, it came out really good. I'm blown away at it. And the writing is like the main thing that I'm into. I think I love to write songs. It's the way that I can truly express myself. I'm not the greatest with words, and just refining riffs and refining lyrics. It's awesome. It's now it's what I do. It's what I'm into now. I've always been into it, but it's later in life. It's become my hobby. So I guess I needed something to do with my time.
Awesome. Yeah, totally. So what do you think you're going to do in the future? I mean, everything's at a standstill now, but what do you hope to happen to springboard off this CD?
Well, we've already got 7 songs halfway recorded, so we took this downtime to focus on that. Hopefully, that will be done within the next few months. We'll add some more stuff to it and just keep releasing stuff. I don't know if we'll do it with Malt Soda. We'd love to. Scooter has expressed a want in that at one point, so that would be great if we could do it with him. We'd love to just be able to branch out and just put records out with all kinds of labels. Our friend that owns the rehearsal studio, his record label, he's going to reissue all our early stuff on one record, which would be cool. And then hopefully within the next year or so, we'll have 2 or 3 more releases. That's our long-term goal. Playing live, especially at this time, that's just not happening.
Yeah.
We'll probably do live streaming things here and there. That's kind of seems like bands are having a hard time at getting that to sound good. So
Yeah.
I'd want to make sure that we could get that to happen before we were to do anything like that. But just recording and getting records out, that's the main goal for the band, I think, you know. Once things open up again, we'll play. You know, we love playing live. It's just kind of seems like right now it's the best thing to do is focus on our writing and recording, getting the next together, you know, and that's just putting stuff out, you know. That's our main goal. That's what we didn't do back in the day, so that's what we want to do now. You know, just show that we're not there's so many bands, it's really hard to break through. We're not trying to break through. We just what would be nice is if people could see us or hear us and say, "Oh, yeah, well, at least they play their music. They play good music, you know, and they deserve to put out a record." You know, that's all that I'm looking for, at least.
Yeah.
I don't care. It'd be cool if people paid attention to it. That's what everybody wants, right? In a band.
Right. Is that a Telecaster?
It's a Radicaster.
Radicaster.
There's a Radicaster, 1981 Radicaster. They didn't make many of them. There's, I think, maybe 1,000 of them made. Thing's awesome. A friend of mine gave it to me. Nice. Beautiful.
I am such a fan. And I did hear of the Radicaster when it came out.
Yeah, that's an awesome guitar. Awesome guitar. Friend of mine, Fred. I used to work at Rickenbacker Guitars, and a friend of mine, Fred, gave that to me. He's got a bunch of insane guitars, and that he's forced on me throughout the years. He given me crazy Gibson Firebrand guitars where there were like 500 of them made, and you know. But he's got an amazing. I think it's a '58 TV model Gibson. Like Johnny Thunders played, the yellow model. It's an original. It's got some in it. I think it's worth around $10,000-$12,000. You know, it's great guitars. You know, I don't own many guitars, but I love guitars. They're amazing. You know, amazing pieces of work.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, man. Is there anything you want to, what kind of message you want to end with? You have the floor.
Uh, if people are willing to pick up that CD and check it out, I hope you enjoy it, and we appreciate people like you helping us out, giving us a voice, and you know, we're gonna stick around. We're gonna keep putting out records. So if you like this one, you'll definitely like the next one. Check it out. We'll hope to see you soon. We'll see if shows start picking up around here, but if not, just buy the record.
Awesome. Where can they buy the record?
They can go to maltsoda.com, pick it up through the website, and you could probably get it through us if you message us through Facebook, but I'd say the best place to go is maltsoda.com because he'll ship it to you. You get it at our shows, he'll ship it to you.
And you're also on Facebook. They can reach you there. How else can people get a hold of you?
We're on Instagram as well. That's that stuff. That's not my. That's not me. I don't know about that stuff. But yeah, we're on Facebook and we're on Instagram, and I think we got a YouTube page. You can check us out there. We got some videos. But maltsoda.com. That's where you're gonna find our music.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Joey, for your time. And I love your band.
Thank you, man.
I love your message. You're a rad dude, and thank you so much for giving me your time.
Thank you, Ryan. I appreciate it, man. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for helping us out and letting people hear this record. I appreciate it, man.
No problem, man. I'll see you soon.
All right, man. Have a good one. Cheers.
Cheers.